made a recap since what day was it? December 4th, and that was specifically because I haven't made a trade since December 4th. Today was my first trade of this week. There wasn't anything yesterday either, at least anything that fit my profile. With that being said, today there was two that I was kind of watching. Actually, there was two I was watching, maybe three. One was TCCO, the other was LITB, and the other one, kind of on radar but not really, was OBSB for like a dead cat bounce short. And OBSB, it didn't get to my spot. I wasn't really interested in it. I was focused on TCCO. LITB was too cheap. Opened at like $1.30 something. I wasn't really interested in it. I got some shares super early, around, I don't know, 7 or so. I wasn't really, I don't trade free market, so I kind of just got them early and basically get some early just in hopes this does happen. If it doesn't happen, then at the open you look for an entry that fits your criteria and put a stop in place, whatnot. But anyways, got some shares this morning. Waited for it to open. It opened. I had an order out at 698. It didn't hit here. It dropped. Actually, it opened, dropped down, and I figured it was gonna just bounce off, like sort of a washout long kind of thing, which it did, but it didn't get to my entry anyways. So it dropped back down, opened, spiked all the way to 720. I got entered into it there at 698, risking over 750. It was like 755 or something I had my stop at. Um, and then I basically held it to here. Basically, I was holding it. I was going to wait for 4 to come, sort of an all day fader. But still, some things I noticed, I expected this to occur. So when it came back up tested, I was fully okay with stopping out because I figured if it was going to bust over, I would have stopped out and then saw what it would have done up here. But at this point, it would have more. It was already overextended from VWAP. Granted, it pulled in some, but regardless, it may have went to 8, busted over 8 a little bit, and then you look for an entry on that. But anyways, it didn't, so it faded down here. And what I did notice was on any of the washes, there was not a whole bunch of volume. It was basically the same amount of volume as there was high bars throughout the day that far. So basically, dropped down. I was waiting for 5 to crack because I wanted to see how 5 reacted. Because at that point, you could tell if there's somebody in there, manipulating or not, which there was, and you could clearly tell that they were just by watching level 2. Basically, I took some. Let's zoom this out a little bit. Right there. So got in here, took some off after this VWAP reject. Took some off there. I think it was like 510, 513, something like that. Took some off here, just in, take some profit, protect myself if this wanted to, bounce over, do what did here. So I still had I think I moved my stop down to over, um, basically break even over the high day double top. It ended up rejecting that. I took some here. I had an order waiting for the flush below 5, and right as it flushed below 5, I think it got to like 480 or something like that, and then bought right back up. There was no, it didn't even use this as resistance. It just got basically like a flicker in the tape. So took some off here. I had a quarter remaining. I put the quarter over 6. So on this, basically, fuck you candle, got stopped out. So I still made $1 profit or so on that, anyways. But there was an entry for a long that I ended up didn't taking. I figured I'd just walk away at that point because you stay in here, you end up giving shit away. But anyways, the entry would have been after the spike over VWAP, you get in on the next dip. So either here or this dip on the low of that. Regardless, it would have been around 650 to 630 would be the entry. At that point, you're looking for it to break this double top, and as soon as it's going to break this double top, it's most likely going to go to 8 and go over 8. So that was that long. I didn't even look to trade any of the rest. I figured I'll just take the profits I had and let it do its thing the rest of the day, which, as you can see, it's doing a lot. This was a nice spike reject, but again, there was so much volume down in this area that it used basically 7 as the low. So right now, whenever on this one, I was ready to short it. I was expecting it to pop up, break this high, and do basically this over here. But essentially, I was watching it. It did a bull flag, started to curl, break above the bull flag on like the 15-minute chart, I believe, and it just didn't have enough and just basically dropped down. But as you can tell, the amount of volume on that massive fucking red candle is less than all these others or equal to them. So with that being said, I was kind of hesitant to look for a short around here. Ideally, my thought was whenever I saw this drop, I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for, I think it was like 870 or 880. I was gonna look to maybe enter if it was gonna pop, but then put your stop out over this. It didn't even do that. I didn't even look to short any of this, mainly because it just didn't look like it should whenever this occurs. So in hindsight, or not hindsight, in the past when this happens, basically stock squeezes, you get a whole bunch of longs that are fucked up here, and then it just drops and fucks all these longs. So then any bounce is gonna get sold into, and it's just gonna keep selling, selling, selling whenever these all longs are fucked. They're just gonna keep selling into it. And you got shorts in the mix. But basically what happens here is every drop, it doesn't drop, it just stops. Like you got a massive drop and then you got a consolidation spot, and then it finally breaks down from the consolidation, but then it consolidates again. It doesn't keep dropping. So there's still either somebody in it, somebody below it, somebody wants it higher, there's something. So right now I don't really have my thoughts are it's probably gonna, well, it's about to close anyways, but my thoughts, it's gonna run after hours. I don't know if they're gonna drop some news and after hours of pre-market, but my thoughts is they're gonna probably use the low volume to fuck some more shorts and just grind that bitch up after hours. And if not, you know, um, gap it up pre-market. That's my thoughts on that, and that's my trades on TCCO. Pretty much after this washout, I basically was done with the stock because it wasn't looking right. They made it look weak at certain times, and then after, I believe it was this one right here, whenever it looked like it was going to retest and then just fail, when it started to fail, it got into the teens on the bid, and then all of a sudden the teens immediately turned into 540, and I was like, that's pretty interesting. I'm gonna look to exit this, and at that point, I basically took my stop, put it over this 650, and just fuck you, I'm getting out of this bitch. Um, I think that is a wrap for today. We'll keep you in the loop on if I trade tomorrow or whatnot. I'll just keep doing these as I make a trade, or if something new pops up or whatnot. Other than that, I'm out. Peace.